Hello and welcome to another Geniverse features overview. In this video, I'll be covering the Spaces feature in Geniverse. Now, the Spaces feature is fairly substantial, and so there's going to be multiple different things to step through on this. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so from the main chat, we're going to go navigate to our Spaces. As you can see here, it's illustrated with the 4 diamonds on the left nav rail. So I'm going to click on this. We're going to create a new one for today, for today's example. So what you'll see here is you're going to get a pop-out with a title and a description. The title is going to obviously be what this is called. It'll be an easy reference in the future whenever you're coming back to this. The description, this is going to help your Genie understand exactly what the purpose is behind this, what you're using this for, and how it can better help you achieve that goal within the space. It's important to kind of detail what a space is, and we'll get into that a little bit here shortly. But to start off with, I'm looking to create a space for my new fantasy horror novel. So we're just going to call it my new fantasy horror novel. And in this, I am looking to incorporate famous eldritch horror elements to my new fantasy novel. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm here. Now, the description is not needed, but this again helps your Genie understand a little bit better exactly what the ultimate goal is from this space and how it can best use its information to help you with that. So for now, this is good. You can always come back and you can change the title, you can edit the description if need be, but this will just get us started. So we'll go ahead and create. And so while this is spinning up this new space here, spaces themselves, the purpose behind them is to give you an isolated and pure workspace to essentially build out your different projects and ideas from. So each individual space will only have context to the different sources and communications that you've had within that space itself. And what I mean by context is this is what your Genie is able to reference moving forward. So what it will be aware of. So any data or memories or anything like that that you have outside of this space, it won't be using in the context of what it's building for you here. And that's important because if you don't want bleed through from, say, another project or a different thing that you're working on, a different client that you're working with, you don't want that information bleeding into this space. You want to make sure that everything that it knows about is only related to that specific project or client. Then you can use this as kind of that pure, fresh area in there to which to work from. So in this case, we're going to have to start off with by adding sources, because right now, as I mentioned, spaces inherently have no additional context given to them by the greater Genie that you have right now. So all this is essentially just you can still chat with your Genie if you'd like to from here, but it won't have any additional context and what the discussion's about or anything other than what you've given the title and the description. So let's go ahead and add some sources to this. And what I mean by sources, this can be a number of different things. As you can see here, you've got knowledge docs, you have add link, you have text that you can add. All of this is information that you're giving your Genie in order to help build out your project. And this will allow it to understand and give information to your Genie so that it can use that and transform that for you however you need it to be done. So to start off with, in this case, I'm going to show you knowledge docs. And this is where you can upload certain files, whether that, as you can see here, is text, HTML, PDF, Excel, CSV, Word, JPEG, PNG, common code files. There's a ton, almost countless ways that you can kind of use this right now. You have this traditional drag and drop. You can also go through the file explorer if you'd like to. I have one handy here. I've actually uploaded, I have a PDF version of Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that as a PDF. And now, once this loads in this PDF here, it'll be able to reference that moving forward. So in this new novel that I'm writing, this horror fantasy novel that I'm drafting up here, it'll be able to reference the Call of Cthulhu and take some of the descriptive elements from that, for example, if I wanted to, or just help give it some basic ideas of how to kind of immerse a reader in the scene, what different monster ideas, that kind of a thing. So all of this different context is going to be able to be pulled from this specific PDF. Um, there are, of course, other ways that we can actually explore this. Depending on the file size, this can take some time, but it will eventually, once it's in there, you'll be able to reference this anytime within this space. And again, it's important to mention that any of the documents that you upload here are only going to be referenceable from this space itself. So if you have anything that's been uploaded in, say, your knowledge docs within your knowledge center outside of your space, that won't be referenceable. You'll have to do it here specifically, and just to kind of maintain the integrity of that space itself. So as we go ahead and wait for this to load, there are a few other things that you can see within here. We've got lists, we've got notes, we've got creations, and then you've got your main chat. So your main chat's going to be able to interact with and reference anything, obviously, that you have in here. But there are different chats that you can also you can actually take a look through here. So, for example, in creations, you can actually open a chat once you have a creation, and you can also kind of iterate on that chat based on also, again, the sources that you have loaded in here. Once we have some data sources, I'll showcase creations a little bit more. Beyond that, you've got lists. Now, lists are a way for you to put together a checklist of anything that you want. You can populate it based on sources within here, and then based on that, you can either go through and check them. So let's go ahead and make that. So we'll just say HP Lovecraft horror monsters, and go ahead and hit check here. All right, and then we can go into our list and we can start adding them. Cthulhu. What's another one? The Dunwich Horror. And we can say generic monster, whatever you want it to be. Now, obviously, this isn't a very useful list. There are other ways you could use this. Say if you have certain materials that you need to accrue, if you have a to-do list in general, you can make the to-do list for this. And this operates, as you can see, just as a basic checklist. You can edit these different individual elements. You can delete them, whatever you want. You can have as many lists as you want to. So say we have to-do list. Let's go ahead and say we'll have to write the title. We'll need a summary. We'll need chapter 1, and we can go through, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want, conclusion. And as you go along, you can check through this, and you can obviously reference this list as well. So the other thing that's important to note about this is that any lists that you have currently built in here, anywhere else in that space, will it be able to reference that list? And that's important because if, say, you do have a list of items that you've completed, or again, if this is like a resource list or anything like that, it'll be able to reference that list to help give you better idea on where you stand with everything, and just kind of give you better responses overall. So whatever you can think of in this situation, it'll just help you interact there. So notes is another one. So notes, this is actually a very handy feature within Spaces. Notes allows you to essentially create and assign minor details about things. So please replace any reference to purple to blue. Kind of a nonsense one in this case. But what you can do is, as you can see, this is just a basic note. And this will remind your Genie whenever you're communicating with it, oh, anytime, say, one of my sources references purple, or I talk about purple, or anything like that, go ahead and replace purple with blue. It's a super basic idea, but you can do this for really anything. And this just, again, helps fill out the context that your Genie has. You can also attach this to certain sources or anything else like that. So as you can see, I've got the Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft PDF. I can actually put this note and attach it specifically to that source so that it knows to reference it with this additional idea of, instead of purple, it'll be blue. Just another really handy thing. So it's almost like a sticky note. You can assign as many as you want. Create note. And as you can see now, I've got this. Please replace any reference to purple to blue within the context of this PDF here. So you can make as many notes as you want. Some of them can be basic. They don't actually have to be attached to anything. And they'll be all referenceable by your space itself, so that you can help guide it along. Say it gets really hung up on wanting to explain sloppy mud, and you don't want mud in your story at all. You can just tell it, hey, no mud, and it will adjust accordingly. All right, let's go back to our sources here. So as you can see now, we have the Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft PDF is already in here. You can edit, you can delete this, you can change the title if you'd like to. But you also get a basic summary too. So all of your combined sources will help to flesh this out. And your AI, your Genie, will actually make this summary for you to give you a better understanding of what sources actually are uploaded for this space, and just give you a basic understanding of what you have and if you need to add anything else to it and that kind of a thing. So other data sources you can add, obviously you can paste text in here. So say you have a file type that's not supported, if you found one of those or anything like that, you can actually copy paste and text directly into here. If you have just stream of consciousness that you want to kind of spew out here, say, hey, I don't want this book to be any more than 100 pages or anything like that, you can also put that in here. You could also put that as a note, but this is just an option. The other things you have here are web links, and this is also important as you can go online, and in this case, I have a link to some more of his writings, and I don't want to upload them as a PDF. I just want to reference the link. You can also do this. And so this can also go through things for like news articles or really anything that you want to reference. You can simply upload the link here, import it, and then it will pull that information and be able to reference that in the future. And this is typically a one-time pull. So that it's not constantly accessing it, but it does give it some important context in that way. So we'll go ahead and add this link here as well. And then from there, once we have that link imported, you'll actually be able to go in and we can do some create some creations as we will. Creations, this is really kind of the meat and potatoes of spaces, where spaces are the isolated workspace, creations are what you're building from that in that workspace. And so this has a number of different options within it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go to add a creation. So first you'll see here that we've got wishes, we've create new, and you have this kind of upper input window up here. So you can either prompt your Genie to build you whatever you want it to in here, and you can type that out in a traditional prompt format. You know, if you want to build a specific podcast, if you'd like it to write a generic horror novel, chapter 1, you can do that too. And you can describe that in here. You can reference what sources you want to use, anything like that. Again, traditional prompt window, build what you want from it. But you'll also have other options down in here, as you can see within the wishes. Now, these are pre-made options that will essentially look at the sources that you have and build based on those. Into one of these different options. And there are hundreds of these different wishes in here. As you can see, there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of options. Everything from you can build a podcast, if you want to, a discussion podcast describing the source information and some of the communication chats that you've had. You can do an executive summary. Say you uploaded a bunch of data or reports from a client and you want a basic overview of what that exactly entails. You can also have that, and that's just a click away. There's a lot of different options within here. Obviously, you've got blog posts, knowledge base, LinkedIn posts, all kinds of things. You can also do a create new, and we've got document, code snippet, markdown. Now, these will be essentially a blank document, a blank slate for code or markdown, where you'll be able to chat with your Genie to build and flesh it out further. But as soon as you create these will be empty. So for example, if I want to do a document, I can click into this, and from here we've got a blank document that has currently nothing in it. But you can always go to your chat here, and you can pull out your chat window and say, I wanted a quick summary of a new Eldritch horror in the same style as H.P. Lovecraft. So please write a quick 2-paragraph introduction to a new fantasy horror novel based on the style of H.P. Lovecraft mentioned in my sources. All right. And now what it's going to do is you'll be able to have a conversation on the side here with your Genie, and it's going to start coming up with different options. And based on that, you'll be able to directly apply them, as you can see, into the document. Introduction. In the shadowed recesses of a forgotten New England village, their fog hangs heavily like the weight of unspoken secrets. Awesome, right? And this using those sources and whatever references it has, it's able to piece together a basic 2 paragraphs. And obviously, you can communicate back and forth. It's, as you see, I've generated the introduction for your fantasy novel, drawing on inspiration by the source materials. Awesome. There's a lot of different tools in here that you can use. We describe Magic Lamp in a different video, so you can go look there if you'd like to get a better idea of that. But we also have kind of a traditional WYSIWYG layout here, as you can see, where you can edit your document as you want to with alignment tools, headings, paragraph. You bold and italices and all that kind of stuff. So this is your traditional document editor, but you're going to have this matched with the power of an AI assistant who's able to communicate and edit based on that. You'll also see that we also have a just chat option in here. So if you want to chat and draft, meaning that whatever you're communicating with it, it will update your document here. This is what you'll use this for. But you can also go to this just chat. And if you do this, you can just ask questions and talk to it about the source material or what you've currently got working with and that kind of thing without it updating or changing anything within the document itself. All of this, of course, is simply just the document. There are lots of different wishes that you can go through. You also will be able to save different versions of it. Say I had made multiple different, you can actually go into your different versions and go through, check those. These are updated automatically. You don't have to worry about it, but you are welcome to manually save if you're paranoid, as I am typically. One of the other really cool features about these is you're actually able to share these creations. As you can see here, when I click on this option, you can go to share options, and you can generate a shareable link here. And with this, then anybody with that link will have read access to your document, and they'll be able to review it. And you can just share that publicly if you'd like to, however you want to use that. I'm not going to in this case. This is currently nothing. But you can also go back in here to also manage that. If you want to get rid of the sharing option, you can simply take down that link. So there's another cool option within there. So, all right, aside from that, we also have really cool options such as a discussion podcast, as I mentioned earlier. This will automatically generate based on that. And so I'm not going to do it for this example, as you probably won't want to hear me talk over somebody else talking, but this will generate a podcast for you where you'll actually be able to play it back. And you can share this with people, as I mentioned. Same idea with a document. It'll create a link where they can go and take a look at it. Another option, so we'll just use the executive summary for this. So as you can see, I just clicked on that simple wish there, and it's going to automatically, based on the sources that I provided it, give me an executive summary of everything within it, contained within it. So that will include both the URL link that I provided, as well as the PDF upload. The Awakening of Ancient Horrors, and this is talking about the different two. So we've got Call of Cthulhu and the Dunwich Horrors. You can see these are the two stories that I linked it to, and it gives you all these different options, available resources, key themes and elements, and just kind of the basics, an executive summary, as you will. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and then we're going to go back, and one last thing to take a look at here is the manual creation here. So if I say wanted something very specific about this that I don't think a wish will cover on its own, or I don't want to go simply from a blank document, I could say, please look to write the first encounter with my new eldritch horror monster called Karen, base using the same descriptions and language that H.P. Lovecraft used in the provided sources. All right. And again, you can do podcasts, you can do all sorts of different things in here. We're just going to showcase these for today, but you're obviously welcome to play around with it and come up with all these different creations that you'd like to. And everything in here is really just to kind of showcase how this works, so that you get a better idea of how you can use this moving forward. So the first encounter with Karen in Eldritch Horror, it was during the late autumn of 2023 amidst a season of that clung to the chill of forgotten memories that I, Professor Edward Hawthorne. Anyways, but as you can see, it has now generated this based on my prompt, and this creation itself will now be referenceable within this space as well. But if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out, and thank you very much.